Yeah, the old swaggies, they really had to carry and do everything themselves. Okay, a little bit on grog. They used to say the Englishman likes his half and half, the German likes his beer, the Irishman likes his tot, the Scotsman likes his hot, or the other way around. The Aussie has no national drink, so he drinks a bloody lot. That's what they said. Okay, this makes sense. Outside it's 47 degrees, inside it's 26, and the beer's 0.2. Your choice. Wasn't much of a choice, was it? Here's a poem about drinking and a bloke who shears his wife. Shears his wife. Old Bill the shearer had been phoned to catch the train next day. He had a shed at Mungandai and an early start for May, so he rolled his swag and he packed his bag and he scurried off to bed. But for sleep he couldn't steal a wink to soothe his aching head. He heard the missus snoring loud and he heard a ticking clock. He heard the midnight train blow in and he heard a crowing cock. Now Bill, all in a stupor lay. A-dreaming now was he. All pens are out and loaded up, he's sure in number 3. He grabbed the missus in his sleep and he shore her like a ewe. The first work soon was done, then down the neck he flew. She dare not kick or wriggle. She'd seen him shear before. He was leading Mick the ringer, he was leading Nick the brute, when he picked her up and dumped her like a hogget down the chute. He was staring out the window, half awakened from his sleep, when he saw the missus on the footpath in a heap. God blimey, I've had nightmares after boozing up a treat, and I've walked without no trousers to the pub across the street. But this one, well, it takes some beating, and it's one I'll have to keep. I dare not tell me cobbers, I saw the missus in me sleep. Yeah. Okay, I'll finish off with one more song. This is the shearers used to drink particularly hard, and they were tragic cases in many cases. They would get their season's check. They couldn't drink when they were on the shearing station. It was forbidden to have alcohol. But when they got their check, they always thought, oh, we'll go home and see the family, or we'll go to the big smoke, being the big cities. But tragically, a lot of them got to the nearest hotel and they were lambed down, an expression that probably comes from lambs to the slaughter. And there were some unscrupulous landladies and landlords in these old shacks that were shanty pubs, and shearers would hand over their season's check and they'd say, let me know when 3 days are up. And they'd drink themselves into a stupor on inferior grog, and after 3 days the custom was to throw them, literally, into a room, a shed at the back of the hotel. Now every hotel in the bush, the major ones, had a room that was used as a morgue. If somebody died, they'd put the body in there, right? But somewhere around the 1840s, this dead house had another reference. It became this shed out the back where they threw these drunken shearers to sober up. So they threw them in the dead house. And it would have been frightful. You wouldn't have got a mattress, I wouldn't have thought. You wouldn't have been tucked in at night either. But you would have heard the sounds of the blowflies trying to get out of the window or into the shed. You wouldn't win. They'd be knocking their heads on the thing. It would have been swelteringly hot. And after 3 days, they would come back in the pub and sometimes get on the booze again, or they'd get a cheque for the remainder of their money and they'd be on their way, get on their horse and go. Sometimes even they used to say their horse and bridle and saddle also jumped the bar. If they struck a bad landlady, they'd take their money, all their cheque and even their horse, they took that as collateral or the cost of the booze. So there were tragic cases. It was when the railway came through that they could finally escape down to the city, where the same story usually happened. This song refers to a couple of shearers heading to Sydney, but they only got as far as a pub called Lazy Harry's. Roto is a country town. Oh, we started out from Roto when the sheds they'd all cut out, and we'd whips and whips of rhino which we meant to push about, and we rolled our swags carefully. We made for Sydney town with a 3-spot check between us that was wanting knocking down. Oh, we crossed the Murrumbidgee near old Yanko in a week, and we passed through old Narandera and crossed the Burnett Creek, and we never stopped at Wagga Wagga. We'd Sydney in our eyes, and we made for Lazy Harry's on the road to Gundagai. Oh, we threw our bloomin' swags off and we waltzed into the bar, where we ordered a rum and a raspberry and a shilling each cigar. And the girls that served the poison, they winked at Bill and I, so we stayed at Lazy Harry's on the road to Gundagai. Oh, I've kissed a lot of girls, me boys, I've drunk a lot of beer, and I've met with some of both me lads that have left me feeling queer. But for beer knock you sideways, girls, to make you sigh, you should camp at Lazy Harry's on the road to Gundagai. In a week the spree was over and the check was all knocked out, so we shouldered our Matildas and we made our tracks for town. And the girls, they served us a nobbler and sadly said bye-bye, and we tramped from Lazy Harry's on the road to Gundagai. Okay, folks, it's formal night, so I'll let you escape. Thank you very much for coming to my talks, and enjoy. Lovely to meet you all, and have a great couple of days before we get off, and see you next time. Thank you.